We're going to start by talking about the BASA Info Hub, and it's the new name for the BASA members website. So what is it? So it's a dedicated members only website, and it's where you have access to all of the information that is part of the benefits of your membership of the association. So you'll be able to see the events, register for them, think about your company sponsoring any future events, see if you've registered and paid for any events, pay any unpaid invoices, and to be able to access all of the members only information that you see at the moment on the current website. So first of all, how are you going to get access to this new info hub? So we'll start to send invitations out to the majority of people who are currently registered for the website at the moment. So if you've currently got a registration on the website, you will be getting an email to say this is how you create your new account. So the plan is we'll start sending those out from Monday, and we can do that because the website is available. And so that's when we'll start to do that. You can bookmark the link for the info hub, which is here. It will be accessible from other areas. And when you get your create a login, you'll be able to bookmark it from that point. You don't need to really remember that. As I said, the migration of the data for the new public website will start from about 3 p.m. on the 31st of July. So it may mean that between 3 p.m. on the 31st of July and when you get into work on the 1st of August, that you don't have access to both the old and the new public website. It will just depend how long it takes for that migration to occur. However, having said that, the info hub, which is where you gather all the information, documents, etc., is not going to be affected by that migration. So all of the member information you need should always be available. It's only the public website that's not going to be available during the migration. So I think I showed you, you log on to that homepage. How do you log in? And we've got a nice orange arrow up the top there pointing you towards members only. And just to comment that obviously if you type www.basel.uk.com before the 1st of August, you won't see that page. So once it's active, you can scroll down to that info hub area, which is where the members area is as well. And you can also log in via that route if you wish to. It's both going to the same place. So when you log in, having followed the instructions you get in your email, this is what you will see on the homepage. So it'll be a welcome message, and we're going to be putting this video on that front page with the slides and perhaps some links to some other useful training sessions. You can see upcoming events. There is an account balance. So what that will mean is if your company owns money, anybody logging in will be able to see that. You can also refer others. So if you're aware of a company that would benefit, you can also refer them or refer a contact at that company if you want to. So the first step is, well, how do you look at your own details on the system? And there's a little button with a little person saying My Info. So you click on My Info, and that will take you to this screen. And then if you need to update any of the details on there, you can do so by clicking on the orange pencil icons. You can also add additional icons. So if you wanted to add an additional address, if you were home office based and you wanted any correspondence or documentation sent to your home office, you can click that plus. So it's totally up to you as to how much contact information you want to share with the association. It just depends on how much you want us to be able to contact you if you need information about anything. And so there's the plus and there's the pencil for editing what's already there. Now, what you may see when you first log in is it may have more or less information than you can see on this screen there, because we've obviously only migrated the data that's on the current system. If you look, there are a whole load of tabs across the top here. So that's membership, which is your company's membership, billing, payments, outstanding invoices, related businesses. So that may well be if you're a member of a group subscription, any other businesses that are linked to your business, and then related contacts. And we'll be coming on to related contacts in a bit more detail. So that will list all the colleagues who are also signed up for the Info Hub. Related branches is also, related businesses is if you are associated with more than one business. So for example, I'm associated with BASA and my own consultancy business. Caroline is associated with BASA and her own consultancy business. So that's how that works. Related branches is the parent and child organisations. And then again, there's also another thing on the tab there to refer others if you want to recommend a non-member company that you think might be interested in joining. How do you change your profile picture? When you log on, up in the top left, you'll see just that grey person if you haven't uploaded anything. If you click on that, it will allow you to upload an image if you want to. That's totally up to you as to what you want to put in there. You can even put an avatar if you would prefer. So when you log in, you see that contact is only you, and you think that there might be other people in your company who would benefit from access to the Info Hub. And we don't encourage you sharing logins. What we would say is there's no limit, there's no cost. You can have as many of your colleagues logged in under the business as you want. So it makes sense for you all to have your own login to be able to access the information. So how do you get there? So you log into the Info Hub and you click on My Info, and then you click on related contacts here and then add a contact. So you can then add anybody who you think would like access. And all you need to do is put their name in and their email address. And if you click the arrow, send login information, that will send login information on to them on how to create an account, and that's done. So there's no involvement from the back office. There's no approval of anything. You've done that and put that through. If anybody wants access and they don't know who's actually already got access, they can always email us to ask us to do it for them. So when you add the contact, you add their information and email address. You click on the grey, plus if you want to add a phone number as well, but that's not required, click on send login information and click done. And that's all they need to do in order to be able to set up their account. So the next thing is, where's your company's directory entry? And so you can view all the directory entries by clicking on the active member directory on the left-hand toolbar. So here we go down here. And then navigating to your business. So this is how it will do it. So that will allow you to see the entries others would see it. So what we've done on this screen is it's displayed in a grid form, but there, if you have a look at that orange arrow up in the top right, you can display it as a list instead and toggle between the two. So a typical entry for a company will look like this. And if you need to change your entry, and it's also an alternative way of quickly seeing your company's bio, then you click on My Directory Listings in the toolbar and View Listing. And in common with the rest of the website, clicking on the orange pencil will let you edit the details, and the blue plus will let you add extra details, i.e. a second phone number or a second email address. The directory on the main website looks slightly different. So your directory entry appears both in the public area and the members only Info Hub. And to quickly see how it looks in each area, then you can click on the View Listings up in the top right-hand corner from the Info Hub, and then you can either view it in the Info Hub or you can view it in the public website. And the next slide just shows you the one on the left is how it would look in the public website, and this is the same information in the info only and the members only Info Hub. So that's the difference. It is a fairly similar situation to what goes on at the moment, in that the directory entries don't look the same in the members only area and the public area. So this just, but it's very difficult at the moment to quickly toggle between the two so that you can see how they look. Right, so now we're going to get into the sort of detail of the actual information that you can access from the Info Hub. And we're going to start off with working groups, committees and lists. So what are they? And so for now, and I'll explain what I mean for now, but those are the working groups and committees that you're a member of. So when you log in under My Info on the right-hand side, this tells you which lists or committees you're a member of. And so you can see for this example we've got here, this person is actually not a member of any lists or committees. So if you want to join a working group, then what you do is you click on the blue plus to the right of lists and committees. And then basically that will give you a list of the committees that are available. Now, just because they are a working group or a committee does not mean that when you tick that you're able to tick that blue box. You will only be able to tick the ones that you're allowed to join. So for the moment, the working groups, you can choose to join yourself if you want to join a working group. But if you want to join a committee, that has to go through an approval process with myself and the chair. You will notice when you've got that list there that there's no list, there's only working groups and committees. And so we're still setting the lists up, and those lists will effectively be email lists so that you can get notified about specific things. So for example, we may have an events list, which if you sign up for it means you'll get an email every time an event opens for booking. Or it may be that we have a training list, which means if we decide to run a training list, you can sign up for future training notifications, so that those will be how we set up those lists. And it may be that we're setting up those lists, we'll ask you, what is it that you would like a quick way of saying, actually, I'm not interested in any of the working groups, but if you talk about anything to do with poison centres, I want to know about it. Or if you talk about anything to do with UK Reach, I want to know about it. So we would set up a UK Reach list, and then that would be an emailing list, so that if we add any new content on UK Reach, that email would automatically go out to all of you. Right, so we're going to look at the two main information areas now. There's two areas, a forum and resources. So if we start off by looking at what we had on the old website, we had that working project group area where we listed everything related to the working groups. So how do we find that same content on the new Info Hub? So the first thing you have to do is navigate to this little cloud at the bottom that says resources. So you click on that. And that takes you to a page that lists all of the resources that are on the website. I think we've probably got something like about 800 on there, because we've only migrated the ones from the 1st of January 2023 at this moment. We are taking a copy of everything before then, so we still have access to that should anything be needed. And so what you then do is that you have the ability to select which bits you want to look at via this show only, and you'll see there's a lot of choices there, and what we've tried to do is to narrow it down. There is also a word search box to the left, so if you know that you're looking for something on a particular regulation, you can, and let's just say it's the EU CPR, which is EU 305/2011, you could put 305/2011 in that search box, and it will pull up anything that's actually talked about that in the past. So there's two ways of looking at that, but we're going to look at this search only because this is a coarser way of pulling it down. So what we've done in this example is we've decided we're going to select any content that's been tagged to the chemicals legislation working group. So this pulls up of everything to there. You can actually do more than one search. So you could have actually said chemicals legislation and GBMCL. So you could have put other things in there. So all of the categories from the old working or project groups can be found there and are searchable. And we've added some extra ones as well, so that should allow you to search for documents much more quickly so that you could find what you want. Actions. Somebody said, well, what are these actions at the right hand side? And so you notice that you've got these whole sets, and some of the posts have got the buttons and some of them haven't. Well, the actions relate to the files or the links that are attached to that actual resource post. So there's a preview and download, which is what those two symbols are. The left hand one is preview, and then the download is the tray, or there's a go-to link. What I will say is at this stage, because the way we've set up and migrated the current data, the preview and download are just going to give you a preview or a download of an image on the page. So that's not going to be much use to you. So we would recommend at the moment, until you get used to the website, that you just click on the title of the post itself. So you would click on Badge Toolbox Talks Released, or you would click on Publication of GB Technical. You wouldn't go to this area on the right hand side, because you would skip all of the words that were in there. So the link action will take you to the link in the post, but you may miss other important information and links that are actually in the resource text. So we would still, even if there is a link for you, we would still suggest that you go to the resource post first. So I think at this point, probably it's worth pausing from the presentation to actually try that out so that you can see what we mean. So I'm going to stop sharing that screen, and I'm going to go back to the Info Hub, and I'm going to share that screen. And so hopefully the Info Hub is now back.
Yes.
Yeah. And so if I'll try and keep an eye as I'm going through on any hands that come up. But Caroline, if you can just monitor that as well in case anybody has any questions as I'm doing this. So this is the Info Hub. So as we've said, we've gone to resources, and then normally, because you won't have done any previous, it'll always remember your previous search. So you just click on it to get back to nothing. So this is all of the posts that have been loaded up from the old website. As you can see, there's quite a lot of them. So I don't know if anybody wants to suggest something that we could look at, or whether I should just go ahead, but we can always try that. So I'm gonna select UK Reach. So what that's going to do is it's going to pull up everything on UK Reach. And I may then want to know, okay, UK Reach, but I just want the drop-in clinic content. So what that will do is that just brings up the drop-in clinic content anywhere where it's been mentioned that UK Reach is also on there. So that allows you to do that. And you can clear the results and go back. And as I said, you can also put in here a search term, and that has brought up all of the posts that talk about, and you'll see in this, I put B547, and it's not in the title of that one. But if I click to that one, it's actually within the content of the download is the B547, because it's talking about B547. And this particular post has been shared in terms of tagged, because it's tagged with the Sealants Working Group, and the Sealants Working Group has B547 in it. So it should be a much better search engine than the previous thing. And so as I say, you know, what we had on the example on the slides is we've done chemicals legislation, and so this will do, and it will order it by date order, and you can put it either in reverse order or you can put it in date order. You will notice that some of them don't have a date on there. The reason they don't have a date on there is because when we've put the archive stuff in there, what we've done in the description is we've put the date that we actually posted it on the old website. So any new stuff that's gone straight on to this new website has the proper description in it. So what you will see on that date, that's the original date the information was posted on the old BASA members area. So that hopefully gives you an idea. And I don't know whether we have any questions just about that little bit. I suspect that what you'll want to do is to have a play with this, and then we can have a second session where we can have a Q&A. And so I've also got the ability to be able to post questions actually on the Info Hub that we'll be coming on to shortly. So if I stop sharing that and go back to the presentation. So we've just tried that out. And then we come to the next area. So that's covered resources briefly. And as I say, have a play around with it, because I think it'll make more sense once you get your login and you can see how you can find the information. And that will probably raise the questions in terms of how to do it. So the next area, which copies some of the information that you've got on the current thing, is the forum. And the forum is our active discussion area for the working groups. So when you go to forum, when you first log on, you've got some choices, and here you can see any forum posts for working groups. If you're not a member of a committee, you won't be able to see it. So, for example, this person is a member of those working groups, but they can see all of the working groups, whether they're a member or not. Whereas they can't see any of the committees like the Technical Steering Committee, Council, or the Business Steering Committee. And that's because those are restricted for just members of those groups. So you have to be a member in order to be able to see it. So in some respects, that's similar to the current website. You've got a number of actions. So if you see when you log on and you're in the forum area, you've got this all topics. And so all topics lists all of the working groups, and it lists how many posts. Now, as I said, the resources are separate, so that 800 posts that we've put up and linked to the working groups don't show up here. The forum is a separate section, and I think it'll make a bit more sense once I show you what it is. And so these are forum posts, and so you can view or comment on any post that you have access to, and you can also add your own topics. So if something saying, what's somebody doing about packaging on sealants, you can start a topic to have a discussion to say, I think BASA should do something about this, and then we can actually come to a position without having to sort of do big email chains and big circulation lists. We can discuss it and decide there. So you have some choices. You can watch a topic, and you can also, and if I go back, if you remember back to here, this top right hand area, and so you've got some choices. You can watch a post, you can watch a working group, you can see what your posts are, so that would just give you the ability to see only the ones you've written, and also maybe you've got a draft that you haven't yet published that you're saving there because you're trying to find some extra information about. So watching a group, so under forum, and you see there's all topics. If you click on working groups, this is the screen that you will see, a list of all the working groups. And there's an eye symbol on the right hand side. And if you, at the moment, it's got a cross through it, which means you are not watching it. If you tick that, then you will then be watching all of the posts in the sealants working group. And I'll explain what that means and how you can change the alerts that you get. But effectively, on the forum posts, you can set up your notifications so that if somebody responds to a post or posts something new, you get an immediate email, or you can get a daily email, or you can get a monthly email, which will just let you know that month what's gone on there. At the moment, we're trying to see whether or not they can do some work to make that a weekly one, because we think for us a weekly is probably more useful than a daily for most people, but we'll see how that goes. So you click on that, and that just means you're watching that working group and any topics that are posted to that working group. The system, the watching, that summary of watching is only individual posts that you're watching. It's not groups that you're watching. So although you may have ticked the eye, it won't necessarily tick up here. So if you're watching a topic as opposed to watching a working group, then if you click on a particular topic, so here we've clicked on sealants, and at the moment there's only one sealants, which is the welcome one, and there's a little eye. And so if you click that eye, it will keep a list of those ones under your watching tab so that you can see which posts you're watching and turn them on and off more easily. And here, if anybody responds to that post, so if there's any other new messages that are attached to that, you will then get an email alert that new content is available. If you yourself want to comment on a topic, so for here, if you remember, we were looking at this sealants one, we've clicked on the Welcome Sealants Working Group, and this on the left-hand side is what it looks like. And basically, this is just a basic test message, just to say, welcome to the Sealants Working Group. This forum is for members of the Sealants Working Group. Please use this area to ask questions and reply to information requests. And there's this orange add comment button, and that opens this box here, and you just type your comment in. So you can add a hyperlink. So it may well be, has anybody seen this new regulation? Is it likely to affect us? Has anybody seen this news item? What's the consequences for sealant? That's the sort of comment that you could make on there if it was related to an existing post. So if anybody has any information, it's a way of trying to gather all that information together that's relevant. If you remember, we'd said my posts, my drafts, and that's where you can see what you've posted yourself and also maybe a draft post that you're not quite ready yet to publish. So if you want to add a topic of your own, and this is where if it's maybe there's a regulation and you're thinking, oh, is that going to affect sealant? Do I need to worry about this? And you're thinking, well, it's not really related to any of the specific working groups. It's not really a chemicals legislation. It's maybe maybe it's on toys, and you think, well, toys, where does that sit? That's not exactly a packaging adhesive. Will the new EU toys regulation affect us? Is the UK going to do anything? Here is where you would do it. And so we've set up a general member discussion forum. And so here you can add any topic you like. And all I would say is if your question relates to a working group, try to post it within that working group so that other people will be potentially following it. So you click where you want to post it. Is it a general one? Is it about a BASA drop-in clinic? Is it about a BASA guidance note that you're thinking, actually, I think this is out of date, you need to review it and update it? Or it might be, I can't find a BASA guidance note on this topic. Can you write one, please? And also the consultations or any other working group stuff. If you choose to add your own topic, wherever that may be, so that may be within a working group or it may be just within that general area, you put the title. I would say try to use something in the title that indicates what it's about so that people don't miss it and will comment if they think it's of interest. And then you've got this fuller content. And okay, you've got all of these tools, so you can format it, you can change the color, you can have a look and see what the sort of carriage returns, etc. are. You can align it. There's a little padlock chain link thing here, which is any hyperlinks you want to add, if you want to add a picture, if you want to add a table. And you can also choose a file as long as it's no bigger than 30 megabytes. So it might be, I've seen this document, is this going to affect us? And so you can do that. And then tick that publish arrow unless you want to hold it as a draft first. So you have two choices. If you don't tick that, when you click done, it'll be saved into your My Drafts area. So don't panic and think, oh, I published it. Well, I clicked done. Where's it gone? It's probably sat in your drafts. And so you just need to go in and then click publish. So I think, again, it's worth trying to have a go looking at the live system so that we can just see what that actually looks like in reality. So if we go back to the Info Hub, and again, so we've gone to Forum. Again, it's all topics. And so we've also added, we'll come on to this in a couple more slides, another area, but these are all the areas that you can put stuff in. So you'd need to decide when you put your topic or you want to reply to a conversation, you'd need to decide what you want. So if we go to chemicals legislation, there's 3 posts in there at the moment, and it's ordered as the newest one at the top. So as I say, I did this one yesterday in preparation for today so that we had a sort of a welcome area. And so it may well be that you want to do here, and it may well be that you want to add a comment. And so it may well be that you want to add a comment, and so you click and you can say, I don't know, where can I find a guidance note on UK Reach, for example. And if it's something like that where you've got a question, and say you can if you had a link, an external link, you could click it in here. And so you just click on thing. If you had an image, you can drag and drop and upload that image. If you wanted to put a table, you can insert a table, and that will that won't insert a table. Hang on. That will insert a table, and you can make those changes as you want to do. You can clear formatting. So if you've pasted something in there and the formatting is all strange, you can just clear all the formatting of that. And so that's where you will find that. I will delete this out of the system after we finish this. So this is how it will look. And basically, or it may well be that you want to say, can you add a guidance note on UK Reach registration, for example. So you've done that. So you've got that. And then if that's something that other people like, you can see you've got this thumb there. So you can like the topic. And then if we get lots of people liking a particular suggestion, then we'll work on it. And so from that perspective, that's how this works. And I'm just going to delete those out now because I don't want them cluttering up the system. So that's how that forum system works in terms of those things. And again, you can go into any of the areas and you can see what's there. Now, obviously, this one, I've left it on even though it closed yesterday. And I hope everybody on the call managed to get their submission in based on the BASA template. And so we'll be working on that. And I think there's probably another couple of UK EU consultations that need to go in this area that are on the current website that we're going to be sorting out over the weekend, so that we make sure that everything that's on the current website is transferred over in time. And again, it's you can click on this, and if you had this one's a longer post, but you can add a comment here, and you could say, I don't know, where can I find the BASA template response? So you might ask that, and we will get an alert, and then we can say reply if you go here, and then we put the hyperlink. Okay, so so that's then responded. So you can see the question and the responses underneath it. So they're all grouped together. Hopefully that makes sense. Does anybody have any questions about that so far, or shall I just carry on? Can't see any hands, so I'll just carry on. So I stop sharing there and go back to my slide set. So we've just looked at the live system. Having done forums and resources, I think it's worth now looking at the other areas. So it may well be, where can I find the active UK and EU consultations? Now, those of you who were paying attention to the previous forum presentation would have said, well, hang on, it was on there. And you're right, they can be found in the forum area. However, what we're doing is things that we think you might use all the time, we'll put as a quick link here. So that quick link button, if you see that arrow, active UK and EU consultations, that will take you here if you take that direct link down the bottom, or if you take the forum and click UK and EU consultations. So that's just a quicker way of less clicks to get there. But you're at the same page. What we can do also is if you'd like something else, I don't know if there's another area that you might like us to add to there, we can do that. And in that same area, where can you find the news articles? So some news articles are posted specific to working groups. Some news articles we do, and they go on the public website as well. And it's the same here. Anything in this news space will go on the public website as well. And what we have now is an ability for you to add your company news if you want to, which would then go on the website, the public website. So if you're wanting to promote your company, if you're wanting to promote some news, you've now got the ability to be able to do that. So you access this via news, and it can be displayed in a list or a grid function. So this is where you can toggle between the two. So this is the list function. And if you noticed on the previous slide, that ad that I talked about, and this will take you to this page, and it allows you to submit your own news article with images, when you want to publish it, when you want, maybe it's something that has a deadline date. So you can decide, I only want to publish it until the end of August, and then I want it to come off. And then your company name, obviously, because I'm signed in as me, my company. So if a particular member decides to post it, it will be posted under the company that you are linked to. Once that news item is submitted, the article is reviewed by staff before it goes live. So it doesn't go straight to the live, because we obviously have to have a review process. So adding a news item in the Info Hub, the description section has several editing features, as you found, and it's probably too many to go through today. And that allows you to add pictures, embed links, tables, and there is a link to a full guide that's available on the Growth Zone Support Centre. And so you'll be able to go and have a look at that if you've got marketing people that want to put their information on there. Of course, if people want to submit articles to us and for us to put them on the Info Hub, in your name, we're certainly happy to continue to do that. So if you don't want to do it yourself and you just want to send us your text and your images, we can do that for you. News items are also available, as I said, and they're visible in the public website, and they can be as a grid or as a list, and that is word searchable. So what are you looking for? If I was looking for fraudulent, it would pull up that fraudulent email. And so in that respect, you can find old news very quickly. And if it's maybe thinking, I'm sure I remember something was posted a year ago, you'll be able to use this within the search function to be able to get it. And it's also, so it's word searchable. So if there's a word you're looking for, like UK Reach or GB MCL or CLP, then that's word searchable. So you'll be able to see any news posts that are in that respect. Right, so this tour of the Info Hub is a start, and I think, as I've mentioned before, we can add quick links to the most popular things. And so what we've done, if you decided, for example, that you wanted a quick link to the drop-in clinic recordings, we'd love your suggestions. And so when you start using the hub, you can send us your suggestion. And so when you click into forum, you'll notice it's a Info Hub member suggestions and questions. So we've created a forum just for that. So if you're thinking, I can't remember how to do this, how can I find that? Have you done anything on that? You can add that as a question. You could say, actually, I'd quite like a quick access tab for the drop-in clinic recording. So you can actually go into this suggestion area and you can say, I'd like a quick access link. I can add the quick access link, and then I can reply to you and say, okay, it's now available. So that it's much more of a sort of collaborative website. We're going to be adding some additional training videos and FAQs over time, and they'll be available on the homepage of the Info Hub. So you'll be able to have a look there. And if we get asked the same question a lot of times, then we'll definitely put together a training video or an FAQ on those topics. So I very much hope you enjoyed this whistle stop tour